going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bob's Garage. So today we're finally going to fix that coolant leak. So yesterday, driving home from work, or throughout the entire day, I had to refill my coolant 4 times. I'm done with it. So I finally got some free time. I'm going to fix this thing up, get it all tuned up. So the coolant leak, I'll show it in another video, but I was able to easily find it yesterday from the ride home. It's right underneath this flex pipe here. So we're going to take off all of this, get it out of the way, get to it, and yeah, so stay tuned for more. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start by removing this flex pipe here, and we're going to try to do everything we can to get underneath it. This band clamp here is aftermarket. You would most likely have one of these bad boys. I just really like this clamp. This clamp came with my turbo pressure, or came with my boost leak detector kit, and I just really like it. So I want to get more of these. If you know where to get more, let me know. Alright, here we go. What is this, off the side? I guess we could disconnect this if we want. Okay, and we have near total access to this. Okay, you can't quite see it. It's right behind that connector still. So I'm going to see if I can remove a couple more things to get to it. You like those zip ties? Boom. Okay, so we have a little heat shielded connection going into this guy here. I want to try to get that off. It looks like a similar type of connection as that the pancake valve had over here. So I'm just going to try to wiggle it just a little bit. Okay, I just undid the little button snaps on this, and it was just like this. So this little pocket down here was on the back, or where the hump is for this wire. Okay, so is this full of coolant? What is it full of? Guess we shall find out. Okay, there you have it. Not sure how well that's gonna turn up in the video. So this was just pushed into there. I've never worked on this, so I don't even know what this is. If this is like a recirculation valve type of set thing here, and there's air in there, or if it's supposed to be filled with coolant, I don't know. So it goes across the back of the engine, and it's hard to see, but down in there it looks like it connects to the same thing on the other side, so on the other back of the head. So I'll figure that out later. Okay, so just wanted to give you a much closer view. That is where the leak is, or at least one leak is, right above the passenger side turbo heat shroud. And it just looks like there's a retaining clip, and it's held in with that. This is some sort of a sensor, so I don't know if it's like a coolant temp sensor or what, but what I'll do is There it is. So that's the retaining clip. This reminds me of like the, what is it? The coolant temperature sensor on the lower radiator hose has a clip similar to this. The clip looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's just plastic. Okay. And now we can lift this guy out and inspect it. Okay. So this looks exactly like some sort of a temperature probe. I think I might have gotten a random code one time with it. So, just from first glance, I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. But you can kind of see the black coolant-filled hose or line that's down below there. So I don't even see a gasket or anything. So I'm going to get a pick or a screwdriver and try to dig around in there. But I think the little rubber O-ring is completely eaten away. So I'm going to have to dig through my stock, see if I have something like that. Otherwise, I'll just go over to the local auto parts store. So it's just a rubber O-ring. And this sensor probe is also hooked in with this guy here, or I'm sorry, this guy here. So I would have to disconnect a ton more other stuff to get that guy out. So stay tuned. Here's the probe that I've been talking about. So this is, I couldn't get it on camera, but the hose or whatever you want to call it, the plastic connector that this mounts into the O-ring was completely dissolved and just blown out. So I cleaned it up a little bit, and next up I'm going to look through my stash and see if I have any O-rings in stock. I know I bought a bunch of O-rings. I was going to replace all of these on the back of the engine before, when I was doing the, what do you want to call it? The downpipe install, but I never did them. What is that, my stock PCV valve? Looks like I'm going to have to replace that soon as well. So, yeah, not too bad, not too hard of a job here. I just need to see if I got an O-ring in stock. Otherwise, I have a hardware store pretty local to me. I'll just go pick one up. So, stay tuned. So I looked through my stock. This is what I got here. I want to say these were from the lower radiator hose coolant temperature sensor. And I had ordered a few of them because I thought I had lost it. Well, it was actually, I found out the O-ring was stuck to the sensor. So I never ended up using these. So I bought 3 of them. These, this is the bag that it came in. I don't know if that's the actual part number or what. Maybe that'll be useful to you. But I'm going to try it and I'll let you know how it works. So you can kind of see down in here, I just put one on this probe. And I'm going to reinsert it now and see how it all fits. But it's a little bit loose. But I think it'll be okay. Especially once some temperature gets on it and it starts to swell up or whatever. So we'll give it a try and let's see how well this works. Okay, so I don't think this is gonna work. Let's see if I can kind of show you. But this thing is just kind of wobbling around loose in here. Loosey goosey. So it's hard to tell, but I mean, it's locked in there, it's locked down, but it's just not super tight like the lower temp sensor. So I think that rubber O-ring that I just put on there is the right circumference, but it must need to be thicker or something. As far as I know, I got this locked in with this clip correctly. See how it wiggles around and stuff. So I'm debating on if I should just fill it up with some fluids, fire it up, and see what happens, or I guess I could do that. I guess I could just put some water in it, but I don't know. I'm gonna maybe do a little bit of research on the internet real quick, see what I can find in terms of other O-rings or the proper O-ring for this before I start it up, because I'm almost certain that's going to leak. That sensor's not, or this probe isn't really pressed in there very hard. I don't know. Yeah, so, okay, I'll keep you posted. Okay, so I went to the the parts store just down the street, and I picked up a couple more O-rings. And sure enough, the O-ring that I picked up was thicker. So in terms of width, it would have worked, but it was we're talking probably a 32nd too wide. So it was wider than that locking groove on the temperature sensor. So I couldn't basically insert it into that plastic hose housing thing that it goes into. So it was like too wide. So it was the thickness was okay, but it was too wide. So just for kicks, I had multiples of those Audi ones that I had bought for the lower temperature sensor. So I just doubled them up. So I put 2 of them on there, and now it's a lot tighter. And it doesn't wiggle around like it was. But I mean, that's not right, of course. So I was able to get the locking pin in, and let me see here. This hose is driving me crazy here. So now, I mean, this thing is solid. It's not jiggling around like it was before. But yeah, I'm debating if I should just put in some coolant and fire it up. I'm sure it'll be better than it was. The only problem is, I mean, this will drain a bunch of coolant in order to replace it later or whatever. So, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But, like always, I'd rather have the right parts on here than something janky. So, make some calls to the local car parts shops. I don't live near an Audi dealer, unfortunately. So, I would just need to kind of basically figure out if anyone has this in stock. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw some coolant in it and drive the piss out of it. So I think I'm going to move on and maybe start working on changing the oil. So I picked up a bunch of 5W40. I think I'm at about 4,000 miles or so since my last change. So I want to get that going. And then it's a nice rainy day here. It's Saturday. So my first day that I've had some free time in forever. So I need to get some of this stuff fixed up. But you can see I got some coolant dripping all over back here and whatever, so I'm going to have to clean it all up. Looks like my PCV valve is covered in oil and crud and shit, so probably end up replacing that somewhat soon. Other than that, yeah, it looks like, I think this black plastic piping that goes to both sides, I think it goes into the combi valve, the combination valve. And then, I forgot what it said these things are. So, I was able to look that up in my RS4 manual. But they don't really talk much about the coolant temperature sensors. So, that's what that is. That's what we're working on here. It's a green coolant temperature sensor. I did write down the part number of the sensor. This is the part number of the sensor. So, it's 059919501A. And if you go online, they're like $10-11 with an O-ring, like from Amazon or something. So I could probably just try this for today to get by, and then prime it to me, and I'd have it Monday or something, I guess. Maybe I should just do that. But anyway, stay tuned for more. Okay, we're back at it. So the inner O-ring, that's the one that I had or whatever. I just got back from Napa Autoparts, and they actually had the correct O-ring needed for this, so we're going to give it a try. So I went to AutoZone and picked up, they had it was like $13, they had a coolant temperature sensor with O-ring. It was the green coolant temp sensor. It's like $13. So I was going to go that route, but as far as I know, the coolant temperature sensor is still okay. It's easy enough to get to that it's not like, well, I already have it torn apart, I might as well replace it. So I went to Napa instead, and it was like 60 something cents for just this O-ring. So I'll go back to Napa and return that. Now I'm just gonna slide it onto the OEM coolant temp sensor and see how this all fits. So I'll let you know. And we're back. So I just went back to Napa Autoparts, and I'll put the part numbers of all the crap that I got in the video description. But I just picked up an extra one, but I picked up 2 replacement clips. They were about 60 cents each, and I just snapped it in, and it seemed to be good. So what I'm going to do now is finish buttoning this all up and reinstall my flex pipe, reinstall that air line or whatever that thing is, and that should do it. So let's get this finished up. I do need to change my oil as well today, so I'm thinking about maybe doing that first, and then I'll put the fluids in and test out the work that I just did with this. So when all is said and done, it cost less than $1.50. I think I spent about 60 cents on the O-ring, 60 cents on the clip because I broke mine. That was my fault. I had doubled up O-ring. So this fix was under $2, so it should have been under $1, but that's okay. So let's get this button back up.